job, Mike.
Thank you.
So kind of some Back to the Future stuff for you.
I don't know exactly where you're going with that. It was nice to with Dean doing the work that he's doing for our country, it was nice to figure out a way to win a hockey game. Send him some good news. I haven't seen what they're doing against North Dakota tonight, but that's a big win for us.
Talk about that goal by Rich, Mike. He's been struggling a little bit offensively, I think, and he came through tonight.
Hey, you know what? With a couple of things there. We, through the first period, I think we were 2 and 12 on faceoffs. And faceoffs possession. And so we were struggling with that throughout the first period. Had a little trouble with it actually last night. But Joey Martin does a good job of not losing the draw clean. And we keep it alive in the corner and found a way to get the puck to the net. And we've been talking about trying to get to the dirty areas a little bit more. And Rich Purcell scored an awful lot of points in his, not just his career here. He's done a good job offensively, but when he's in the USHL and even when he was out east, he's had a history of scoring goals. And it was nice to see him pick a good time to get one done.
Was this the kind of game where there was any doubt that it was going to come down to whoever finally capitalized on a big opportunity?
I think so. I mean, both teams had significant time on 5-on-3s, and neither team capitalized on it.
Just on power plays in general, really.
Exactly. 5-on-4, 5-on-3. Just not a lot of offensive production. And the one goal that we scored last night was on a power play. Anytime you're playing two teams like these two teams like to play, I think both teams like to get up and down the rink. And I thought both goaltenders played well. I thought Lee played very solid for them tonight. He didn't give up a lot of second and third opportunities. So it seemed like a lot of pucks stuck to him.
John played well tonight. He also got a little bit lucky, sort of couple games off the post there.
I've always said it this way because I don't know if it's because I've been fortunate enough over my career to have some pretty good goaltenders, and that's got to end somewhere, And it's, I agree with you, but I've never seen a stat sheet that on a bubble gum card that says posts, it's goals and assists. But you're right. But I think he's been doing a really good job as of late to give us an opportunity to win hockey games. You look last night, he gives up one goal. I think he would like to have that goal back last night, but he stopped a couple that he shouldn't have. And tonight he found a way to keep it with one. And if we keep getting goaltending like that, we have opportunities to have a play made like Rich Purcell tonight.
I know you haven't had much. But before the season, you hadn't really had any direct work with the UNO-Minnesota State rivalry, such as it is. But what do you think that this series says, if it says anything at all, about what the series is going to be like once they're playing in conference?
My understanding is the series has been a little bit of a war, and you saw it spill over a little bit tonight. There was a little bit of a parade over to the penalty box, and I think that's great about hockey. The one thing being in Minnesota a year ago, and I don't think it's much different in the CCHA. Points are hard to get, and being at Minnesota last year, we had some very physical series with Mankato, and that's just the way they play. I think they're very well coached. I think that staff does a good job at instilling a work ethic in their group, and they're hard to play against. I think it'll be a good series. Since
you're at Minnesota and you had experience playing against Mankato before, were you looking forward to this weekend in particular just because of that?
No, I mean we're just continuing trying to make steps as a group, and I think last weekend we made a step because we were on the road, found a way to win a hockey game, which we haven't done a great job of so far. So we made a step last weekend. We just wanted to continue to try and make steps this weekend, and we ended up getting a tie last night on the road, which isn't an easy place to win a hockey game. And then came back and had another positive game at home. When we've come home, it was very important for us to defend our home ice tonight because it's been a while since we've been here. And if we're going to do anything in the CCHA, as far as league standings, we have to defend our home ice. because we've got some home games in the second half, and they're against very good hockey clubs.
And, well, like you said, it's a pretty tough schedule for the second half. I mean, you have Michigan, Miami. How do you assess this team coming into that?
You know what? A couple of things. One, we finished well, and that's step one. Step one is over. Now, hopefully, we've made an impression on the guys with Dean's mentality and making sure that we're a finely conditioned team so that we can win games like we did tonight. They've got to take care of their bodies over the next week to 10 days. Come back because we're going to have 3 practices, load the bus up, and go play the number 1 or number 2 team in the country in their own building at an elevation that isn't where it is in Omaha. You know, so the guys are going to have to take care of themselves. So we'll learn a little bit more about our guys with that challenge, and then play St. Lawrence, who we saw here earlier, and they're a very difficult team to play against because they play so aggressive. You know, they don't give you a lot of time and space. And then we'll get back, and hopefully, knock on wood, we can stay healthy. That's something that we've done so far, and we need to have that continue for us to continue to make steps.
And you felt this team is where there's no other way to say it. Is this team where you think it should be at Christmas?
Yeah, okay. I do. I think we're making steps. You know, I think if we don't do what we did over the last 2 weekends, it would have been disappointing. But actually, you know, this group's been great about buying in. And I think if you talk to Dean, talk to Nick, or myself, they've been enjoyable to coach because, you know what, they're doing what they can do. They're working hard and they're buying into what we're selling. And I think if that continues, we'll continue to get better. All right, guys, thanks for your time. Take care. Have a good Christmas.
Yes, you too.
All right, Mike, take care with your family.
Okay, you too.